All right, so get ready to hit those high notes. Today we're diving into the world of professional singing. And let me tell you, it's a lot more than just, belting it out in the shower.
It definitely
We've
is.
got these really cool guides from RoleCatcher. They break down like everything you need to know to maybe make it in the music biz.
And believe me, it takes more than just raw talent. It's dedication, resilience. You really got to understand how the industry works. It's a whole thing.
Okay, so spill the tea. What's really surprising about this whole singing career thing?
Well, one thing that might surprise people is how much singers need to be, well, business-minded.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about hitting those high notes.
Right. This isn't just a hobby. It's a business. You're your own brand.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through this.
Well,
What does RoleCatcher say are some of the core skills of a singer?
So you've got your coordination, critical thinking, even active listening plays a huge E-role.
Wait, back up. I get coordination, especially if you're like singing with a band or whatever, but critical thinking. For singing,
Think about it. A singer isn't just performing in a bubble. They're collaborating with producers, musicians, even the audience in a way.
okay, that makes sense. So it's about being able to take feedback, adapt.
Exactly. You have to analyze your own performances, make decisions about what songs to sing. Sometimes you have to think on your feet. It's a lot like an athlete, actually.
Wow, I never made that connection before. And what about active listening? How does that play in?
Imagine you're in a recording studio with a producer. You need to be able to really listen to what they're saying, understand their perspective. It's about using that feedback to get better.
So it's not enough to just belt it out. You got to be receptive to what others are hearing too.
100%. It's like being a sponge, absorbing all the knowledge and advice around you.
That's a great analogy. So we've got those skills, but then RoleCatcher also mentioned some other important areas like um, fine arts, native language, even education and training. I mean, fine arts makes sense. You got to know music theory, but what about the others?
Okay, so with native language, think of it this way. Singers are storytellers at heart. And what do they use to tell those stories? Language.
Right, the lyrics, how you deliver them.
Exactly. The better you understand your native language, the better you'll connect with your audience. And education and training, that's about always learning, always growing.
So you're saying it's not just about natural talent. You got to hone your craft constantly.
Precisely. It could be formal training at a music school, workshops, even just practicing on your own.
You've always got to be pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, switching gears for a sec. We can't talk about the music industry today without talking tech.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't need a fancy recording studio anymore to produce a track, or
you got it. These days, singers can record, edit, even mix their own music right on their computer.
that's wild. But how has that changed the industry?
It's kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's great. It's given independent artists more control. They don't need a record label to get their music out there.
That's awesome. They can just put their stuff directly online
Yep. But on the other hand, it's made things a lot more competitive.
because everyone's doing it.
Exactly. You need to know how to stand out.
So on top of being a great singer, you got to be a tech whiz, A&D, a marketing guru.
Pretty much.
Wow, okay. So RoleCatcher also gets into the whole career path thing, right? They break it down into stages.
Yeah.
What's the starting point for a singer look like?
Think open mics, local gigs, maybe even joining a choir. It's about building your skills, getting experience performing live.
So it's those early gigs, even if they're small, that help you grow as an artist.
Exactly. And they emphasize that even at this stage, you need to keep learning. Take vocal lessons, go to workshops.
Always be learning, always be growing.
That's it. It's like laying the foundation for a skyscraper.
You need that solid base to build something great.
Hmm.
Okay, so you're playing those early gigs, honing your craft. What happens when a singer starts to, gain some traction? What does that next level look like?
Things start to get interesting. You're moving beyond those early gigs to more established venues, maybe collaborating with other musicians, maybe even recording your own music.
So you're starting to take control of your creative vision.
Exactly. You're building your style, attracting a following, but that also comes with new challenges.
Like what? What kind of hurdles are we talking? We'll find out right after this. So we're back. And we were just about to dive into some of those, challenges that come with a singer hitting that intermediate level. Like it's not all rainbows and sold out stadiums, right?
Not exactly, no. This is where those business skills we talked about earlier become really, really crucial. Think managing your own bookings, promoting your shows. You might even be dealing with contracts and royalties.
Whoa, hold on. Contracts and royalties. That sounds kind of intense, especially if you're still figuring everything out.
Yeah, it can be a lot. And that's why RoleCatcher, they really stress the importance of networking and finding a good mentor during this stage, like connecting with other singers, maybe some managers or industry people that can be so helpful.
It's like having a guide, someone who knows the ropes.
Totally. A good mentor can give you advice, share their experiences, maybe even introduce you to the right people.
Okay, so it's all about building relationships, learning from the pros. That makes sense. But let's talk about the music for a sec. How does a singer, like at this level, how do they go from doing covers to creating their own sound?
That's where finding your niche comes in. RoleCatcher talks about this a lot, actually. They say it's really important for singers to specialize in today's music scene. It's not just about being good. You need to offer something unique, something that makes you stand out.
Right, because everyone and their brother can post a singing video online these days.
Exactly.
So instead of trying to do everything, maybe you become known for a particular genre or style. Like if you're into jazz, you really focus on that.
You got it. It's about finding that sweet spot where your passion and your talent really overlap. And, not only does that help you stand out, it also lets you connect with a fan base that really appreciates what you do.
So it's like finding your tribe, musically speaking.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. This all sounds great, but at what point does a singer, start to see the financial rewards? Like, when does passion turn into a paycheck?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And I hate to say it, but there's no easy answer. Income for singers can be all over the place.
No guarantees.
Nope. It depends on your experience, the type of music you do. Even just luck plays a role, honestly.
So you're saying it's not like a regular job where you have a salary?
Right. A wedding singer might have regular gigs, but a touring musician, their income's going to look totally different.
So it's about being creative, finding different ways to make money from your music?
Definitely. And that's where those entrepreneurial skills really come in handy again. Singers need to know how to market themselves, manage their money, think outside the box.
It's like being your own CEO almost.
In a way, yeah. Okay, so we've talked about starting out in this intermediate stage, but what's it like for those lucky few who actually make it to that top level when you're talking Grammys, world tours, that kind of thing?
The dream, right?
Exactly. And yeah, some of those perks might be part of it, but I think it's more than that. It's about having a platform and using that to make a real difference.
So it's not just about fame and fortune.
Right. They might get into mentoring new artists, advocating for causes they care about, even starting their own record label, giving back.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. It's like they're using their success to lift others up.
Exactly. They've been there. They know how tough it can be. So why not help the next generation?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But let's face it, not every singer is going to become a superstar, and that's okay. What about those who decide to, maybe take a different path? What does RoleCatcher say about that?
Well, and they have a whole section on transferable skills, and it's actually really encouraging. They basically say that those skills you learn as a singer, they're valuable in lots of different careers, even outside of music.
Wait, seriously? Like, what? Give me an example.
Well, a lot of singers, they become vocal coaches or music teachers. That's a natural fit, right?
Yeah.
But it goes beyond that.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Think public speaking, event planning, even things like marketing and sales. Those skills singers develop, like connecting with an audience, thinking on their feet, that translates to a lot of professions.
Wow, I never thought about it like that. So all those late nights practicing, those nerve-wracking auditions, it wasn't for nothing.
Exactly. You were learning valuable skills that you can use in so many ways.
This is blowing my mind. It's like you've been secretly training for a whole bunch of careers without even realizing it.
That's a great way to put it.
This is incredible. Okay, so we've covered so much ground here, but before we wrap up this whole deep dive, let's talk about some of the most common questions people have about the singing world. Okay, so we're back and ready to, unveil the secrets to vocal success. We've been talking all about what it takes to make it as a singer, and RoleCatcher has given us some serious food for thought.
They really have. We've talked about skills, career paths, even the financial side of things. It's not all glamorous, but it's definitely fascinating.
Yeah, and one thing that really stood out to me was, how important it is to keep learning and growing as a singer.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher, they actually have a whole section on professional development just for singers.
Get out. Okay, so break it down for me. What are some of the things they suggest?
Well, they're big on regular vocal training. Like, even if you're already a pro, you got to keep those pipes in shape.
Right. Your voice is your instrument. What else?
They also talk about going to workshops and master classes. It's a way to stay current, learn new techniques.
Because the industry is always changing, right?
Totally. And networking. That's huge EE. Going to industry events, meeting people.
It's all about who you know.
Right. To some extent, yeah.
Okay, so we've got training, networking.
Yeah.
Anything else?
They also talk about something that's really important, but not always talked about, taking care of your mental health.
Oh, that's huge EE, especially in a field that can be so, like, competitive and all over the place.
Exactly. It's tough business. RoleCatcher talks about self-care, managing stress, even seeking support when you need it.
Because it's not just about hitting those high notes, right?
Yeah.
It's about taking care of the whole person.
100%. You can't pour from an empty cup, as they say.
Love that. Okay, so we've gotten amazing info from RoleCatcher, but I have to ask, what about that, like, intangible it factor?
Oh, yes. The thing you can't teach.
Right. What makes a singer truly unforgettable?
It's tough to define. It's that stage presence, that charisma, being able to connect with your audience on a deeper level.
Because, like, you just feel it. Right.
Yeah, and while some people are just born with it, I do think you can develop it too. It takes practice, being self-aware, and honestly, allowing yourself to be vulnerable on stage.
That makes sense. It's got to come from a real place.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, I feel like we've covered so much ground today. If anyone out there is thinking about a singing career, RoleCatcher has given us a lot to think about.
They really have. It's a great starting point.
It is. And hey, if you're out there belting it out in the shower, dreaming of the stage, remember, it takes more than just a good voice. It's hard work, dedication, and a willingness to, like, never stop learning that'll get you there.
Well said. Find your voice, work hard, and don't be afraid to share your gift with the world.
And on that note, we'll let you get back to those vocal warm-ups. Until next time.
See you on the next Deep Dive.